Today's going to be a little bit longer than normal. Before the morning session started, I went through the charts like I'm supposed to, trying to form a daily bias and just trying to get some key levels and areas that the market could potentially go to. So when we do get to those points, we can look for setups, possibly going the opposite direction. So I just wanted to record that and show you all like what I'm thinking when I'm going through that. I believe it played out. We did end green today, not by much, but we made a little mistake on our first trade. But you guys will end up seeing that, which really put me in a bad mindset. I decided to take a break, stepped away from the charts for a couple hours and came back for the afternoon. That lunch setup that I tried getting yesterday, and it did work out today. We didn't get as many points as I would have hoped, but I just couldn't hold on any longer and move my stop in profit and end up getting stopped out. But green is green, so I can't really complain. You may have all seen that Apex is doing a 90% off again, which is crazy. I think it's until July 7th or something. I'll double check, but you can try using the coupon I have, but if not, you can just punch in save 90 and get 90% off. But it would be cool if my coupon works for that. But if not, if you click the link, that helps us out here on the channel, which is much appreciative. I'm on 2 Apex accounts right now. I'm using the group trade on Tradervue, so I have my contract size set to 10 contracts, but it's really applying 5 contracts to my funded account and 5 contracts to the evaluation account. And then the open P&L that you see is the open for all 10 contracts, but it's really half for each account. So if it says that we're up $100, it's really we're up 50 on each account, just so you all are aware and don't think I'm trading 10 contracts on this account. Yep, that's it. If you don't stick around until the end, as always, let me know how you guys do in the comments. I like discussing everyone's trading days and seeing what you guys saw versus what I saw, and vice versa. And if I don't talk to you, have a good weekend, and we'll see you on Monday. So you guys have seen that I don't typically have zones or areas marked out on my charts. I was really trying to do it without it because I really like clean charts, but I need to start using Tradervue to mark out these like potential liquidity runs. And based on ICT's video he had the other day, he had very specific time frames of where to look for highs and lows. So I'm trying to just apply that for today. So I've already gone on here, and this top line was, that's a little too, needs to be, well, I don't know. So he says between, I think like 1:30 and 4 p.m. for the PM afternoon session. This was at 4:45, and it was a little bit higher than the close of the day. So maybe we'll just like split the difference, or what, let's just put it down here at 4 p.m. That's what he said. The problem is there's no more liquidity up there because after hours we ran that, right? I don't know. We're just going to mark it and pay attention to see how it reacts. So we got the PM high up there. This little high is the high from the London session, so between 2 and 5 a.m. And then we have the low, which we've already ran those. And then we have yesterday's AM low. So that was right at open. We have not taken out the liquidity beneath that. And it does look like we're going down, but we need to see how PMI news affects that. However, I am just marking that. I don't have a line because it's very close to this daily bullish fair value gap. So we'll need to see how we react when we get into there. If we're still bullish, just on like the daily chart, we should expect this to come in here and dig potentially halfway through, maybe around 913-ish, 900-ish. So we'll just have to pay attention to that. But yeah, we've got this high up here and the AM low, so we're kind of in this range. So we'll see if we go down here. What I'm thinking is, with the news this morning, go down into here, taking out any liquidity beneath this AM low, digging into the bullish fair value gap, and then maybe looking for a bullish setup to start working our way back up. Something I also am going to be paying attention to is the dollar index, because from what I've heard and learned, these work in correlation by opposites. So if the dollar's going up, NASDAQ should be going down, and vice versa, but based on what the dollar's doing. And I marked out a liquidity area, or an inefficiency, on the daily for the dollar. So we have this gap here, and it has a true gap within there where no trading was done. So looking at just the daily, we came down into this inefficiency and this inefficiency, and we have perfectly bounced off of it in the last 2 days. So far are green. So I would think now we are reaching back up into this area. And then long term after that, maybe going back down to chase this liquidity down here beneath these lows. Those are pretty equal, close enough, I think, to me. I've never really paid attention to the dollar index, but for today and until we hit this, I would think we're reaching up into it. First day after it was formed, it opened down here, ran up a little into it, but it never got above the wick. Definitely never got up into the true gap, which is where there was no trading done. So I would think we're going to be reaching up into that. So we'll see how the news affects this today. It could be a quick move where this runs up, NASDAQ runs down into that fair value gap, and then they reverse. But we'll see. We got our zones, we've got our levels marked, and we're going to be ready for it. So just figured I'd show you my thought process for marking this stuff out. I don't know if I'm right, but I need to start marking it. It's something I've put off because I thought I could just keep all this stuff in my head. But when it's all in your head, then you get distracted by the price movement and you miss things. And I think that's why I missed that setup yesterday and took the complete opposite right after lunch. It worked out perfectly where we have liquidity obviously above here, obviously above here, and obviously above here. And this was between noon and 1. So on these three, we have liquidity above them. This range was formed in the lunch session, just between here. So we kind of just take that and draw out our zones or liquidity. So below it, we have sell side liquidity. Above it, we have buy side liquidity. So whichever one gets taken out first, you start looking for a, for me, I'm looking for fair value gap setups to indicate that we're reversing. And that first move down took out all these stops quickly, tricking everybody, tricking me, even though I knew that that was a potential that we could reverse, or that after the lunch session, typically the liquidity, the first side to get taken out is just a fake out and we're going after the other side. Just wasn't thinking about it in that moment. Maybe it's something I need to write down and have it on my desk so I remember that, but I should remember it now because I got burned. But I took that short, obviously, you saw yesterday. However, there were plenty of setups. So I took this fair value gap, but we have a fair value gap right here, fair value gap right here, fair value gap right here. 1, 2, 3 different setups to potentially go long and start attacking the buy side liquidities. Had we just taken like the second one, and I really liked that one as a 53-point trade with a stop of 11 points. So those are the trades I need to look for. This is setup I need to look for, having a defined range with a high and a low. Wait for one side to get taken out, look for a setup going the opposite direction. If I don't see that, if it keeps going, oh well, I was looking for something different. If I don't get in, not a big deal, I didn't give money back, but these setups are playing out very well, and I keep kind of seeing them, but it's too late. And I got tricked out. So now we're just gonna wait for market open, and then I'm gonna wait to trade until 10 o'clock. I think we'll take this if it comes back in here. Man, it sure seems like we're reaching up for at least above that high. And then we'll see about this one. $90, and then, I mean, that would be amazing if we went after the London high. We did come up past the 50% of that high to this low. We'll go for it. We need to get out down here. So from this high to this low, if we were still bearish, I wouldn't want it to go above where we just got in, and we did. We came way up here. So I would like to target at least 90, potentially that high back there. It is getting easier to hold these trades. Well, that's scary. We're right on that order block right there. Switch this to the 2-minute. Just looks cleaner on there. Can't we just get some decent trades? So it's easy to hold when you're in the green. It sucks when it starts going in the red, especially after you were just in the green. I have to kill that. Okay. What? I don't know why I'm just not seeing this right. It makes perfect sense. This is a nice break of structure. You would think that that was indicating going back up here. Maybe for this move, my stop should have been down here, but that was too much risk for what I was entering with, so maybe I made a mistake. Where I drew my trade on Tradervue, it wouldn't have been stopped out yet. We'd be back up to 20 points in profit. I'm kind of treating this as some comes back down below that entry. kind of pissed right now. I should have not exited there. We've got these highs to run at 90, but I mean, I really want to see it go up there. Shouldn't it come back down here? I also shouldn't have entered into this trade. And I should have freaking left that first one on. I never put it there. I know like that's a good stop beneath that candle that makes the fair value gap, but the order block before it, I need to be putting it down there, but that was just too much. But we would also be in this. Up 40 points. Thinking about just taking this close to this high. Well, let's take it. Shouldn't have got into that one to begin with, so basically break even on the day. Minus 170 on the first one, plus 202 on the second one. Bad decisions all around. My goal for seeking liquidity was to exit before we get to those highs, just in case we get a bunch of pullback. So we bought at 42 and got up to 84. That would have been a good 40 points. I could have exited up there from that first one. I say we just got lucky. May try to take a trade this afternoon. I'm not going to take anything else right now though, because I think the move has already been in play. We could continue to run with this, but I'm gonna just completely get off the charts and come back later. Reset my mind. Coming back after lunch. I've been kind of paying attention to the market, just as you can see, marking some areas of interest. Seeing how we came down beneath these equal lows, taking out that liquidity, running up to the top of that move, taking out that liquidity. So now I was marking the lunch lows and highs, which ICT says the mark between 12 p.m. and 1 p.m. New York time. We just ran the highs just now. So we could trade back up there a little bit, but if we take out these highs, I'm looking for a short to go take out these lows. We also have some buy side liquidity up here and the London high, so we could also just keep running. We just need to wait for a setup, and if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But we're getting close to this swing back here, which is kind of equal with that swing from early this morning. And then the London high, which was formed between 2 a.m. and 5 a.m. back there. We already took out the lows. That's what we were in all morning. So really could go any way, but this lunch setup I'm looking for is for lunch to form a range, a low and a high. After lunch is over, between 1 and preferably closer to 1:30, see one of those get taken out, and then a setup pointing in the other direction. So we took out lunch highs, we took out this buy side liquidity, got a fair value gap. If we can close down here, I would like to wait. Want to get in if it comes back up to that candle right there, up in here. Well, I need this to close, and then the next candle we can potentially get in. So we have a setup, we have a narrative. I want this to come back up to 135, 136-ish. But it doesn't have to be on this candle. We could go down a little bit more and then come back up in here. Looks like we're in. See if this plays out. Now the hard part. Swear to God, if this just freaking runs back up. I'll just kill it manually if we get up to 150. I'm not sure how the whole group trading thing works, because if I put a buy on here, it says only 5, even though I technically need 10, 5 for this account and 5 for the other account. I think it worked earlier, so we'll at least leave it and see. This is only less than 2 points higher, so put above that swing. So 85 will be 50 points, and that's kind of what I would like to go for, but the potential to go down to the lunch session low is there. So we can always just like move our stop if we get to 50. Try to secure at least 40, 30 to 40. Obviously, we need this to work out in order to start thinking about that, but just getting a plan in place. I have a plan in place for if it doesn't work out. We need a plan in place if it does work out. This number, by the way, yeah, I'm on 2 different accounts, so using the group trading, so whatever number you see here, divide everything in half, so it's really 5 contracts on this account, 5 on the other one, and the money is half on this account, half on the other one. Just trying to stay positive. Even if this doesn't work, it just means that this was a setup that didn't work. But I didn't do anything wrong on this trade. We marked out the lunch low, the lunch high. We have this buy side liquidity. We ran up above both of the buy side liquidities and took them out with a bearish fair value gap, breaking some swings, waited for it to come back up. I mean, this is a picture perfect setup. So if it doesn't work out, it's just one that's not going to work out. They're not going to work out all the time. But if it's one that does work out, we should expect to come down into here. Oh, come on. Let's see what the yes is doing. I like that we haven't really gone up into the fair value gap. We just barely are hitting this beginning of this order block, which I'm treating this one, these 3 as like one order block. That was when like, I guess, smart money or whatever would load up on sells and then the drop. But just need to stay patient. Again, I either want it to come down to 50 points or get stopped out. We're looking at the low between 12 and 1. The highs right here. That's what we came up and ran above. Now I want to see us attack these lows. Feels like I've been in this for like 60 minutes and it's only been not even 20 yet. Could come back up into this little inefficiency right there. At these equal lows, no, not equal lows, but there's some liquidity right here that is probably snapping up. But obviously would like to see it come back into this one and then stretch goal of this lunch low with all of these. Don't know if we'll get all the way there, but we'll just judge it. See how I feel. Not sure if I should move my stop. We could probably at least move it to break even, so we guarantee we're not freaking having a red day. Put it right above these highs right here. I mean, there's no reason for the market to come back up there if we're going after these lows. We have a small inefficiency right here. Do have a little bit of relief moving that into basically break even, because like my goal is to get 50-point trades. If this comes back up to my entry, that's tough to hold on to almost 40 points and for it to come back. So I probably wouldn't have held on any longer anyways. But now it's like either we get our 50 points or we secure what we had already. The only thing I'm worried about right now is that we came down and took out these swings, like 3 good sized swings. So maybe we were just going down to there and not necessarily all the way back to the lunch low. And maybe that was all it was planning on doing. It can't take partials when I'm doing the group trading. It only lets me do the full 5 on each. So we're just gonna let it ride. Let's move it to above. I think this is an order block. I could be wrong. Let's move it there. So secured 15 points. I think that's respectable. We did obey that. 15 points is better than 2, and it's better than nothing, and it's better than minus 15. I think that's what we risked on this, so if we get that, at least it was a 1-to-1. Now we can really relax and see what happens. This is my last trade. I don't need these on here anymore, because we're not going to use them on Monday. Trying to come back up. There we go. When I recognized that we had all these over here, which I just wasn't really, I was so focused on the lunch low. Probably should have recognized that. We just barely dipped into this one. So once seeing that the bodies didn't go down below one of those, that's maybe for the future, that's a sign that that's where we were reaching to before we go back. I don't know. Maybe this keeps going, and if I kept my stop up at the top, but I wasn't really wanting to risk going almost 40 points in profit and then turn that into a losing trade. So we held on to that for a freaking long time. So I'm happy with it. The whole goal is to point out these liquidity areas, and then when we get a setup that points that we're going in the direction of another one, we can take some of that profit, and that's what we did right here. Doesn't mean we're going to go all the way there, doesn't mean we're going to go 75% of the way there, but we can take something out of there, and that's what we did. Just need to remember that for next time. So I'm pretty sure this was a fairly long video. I'm curious to see what this does. Either way, I think I managed that trade well. Here's our performance on our funded account. That first trade was really frustrating, but we squeaked out a little bit. I'm aiming for much more than that on this account, but hey, green is green. Did what we could. And we actually have a green week. We made $56. Really thought we were going to do better this week. It is what it is. We learned quite a bit. So I think that showed today, especially my last trade. Everything, the setup was there. Everything worked out pretty good. Could have held on a little bit longer, but I did what I could. So, yep, there it is. Enjoy. You guys enjoy your weekend. As always, let me know how you all did. And we'll see you on Monday.